I feel like the topic that Venus isn't Mars, and it shouldn't have to be, stems from the world-acclaimed book that women are from Venus and men are from Mars. So, ladies and gentlemen, it used to be that with great speeches, one would quote profound individuals and say something like, Confucius said, and then a statement of shock value, intrigue, and information would be shared, and everybody would be hooked. But we live in an era of social media. And instead of Confucius, we have TikToks and podcasts. So I would like to say a quote. If you are incapable of violence, not being violent isn't a virtue. I am harmless, therefore I am good isn't how it works. If you are harmless, you are weak. And if you are weak, you can't be good because you need strength to be good. Jordan B. Peterson, a controversial man, if I do say so myself, which got me thinking, the basis of our existence is a very violent one. And in a world where strength is instinctively measured with violence, there are those who arguably are inherently violent and those that are not. Next quote. Women were previously deemed useless because we primarily existed in a society heavily relied on physique. Khali Masooane. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is currently at what I would call a battlefield of the sexes. And in this amphitheater of cognitive dissonance is where I would like to take you on a journey. Now, hopefully by the end of this, I will not be canceled, but I'm ready and armed with my Twitter fingers for the rebuttal. Venus isn't Mars, and it shouldn't have to be. For decades, we have been fighting the rightful and good fight for equality. But in this groundbreaking societal change, there were cracks and loopholes that we did not anticipate. With that being said, I propose a society that we off-ramp from the equality N1 to the equity freeway. Now hear me out. In trying to prove that women are physically as strong as men, we unknowingly had women experiencing emotional, psychological, and sometimes biological changes. And how about the fact that working moms aren't as praised or revered as working dads? So ladies and gentlemen, I'm proposing that as a society, we start looking into playing to our strong suits. Okay, so your argument is going to be, well, how do we determine what one's strong suit is? And people don't want to have stereotypical traditional roles. People are different. You would be correct. But we come from a very violent society. And as such, our strong suits were based on very surface level understanding, like women take care of the home and then men go outside and hunt bears. Okay, well, I mean, like we're in Africa, so I guess a lion will suffice. But it's unquestionably impractical for us to still be living with this mantra when we live in a timeline where people can literally connect with each other on the other side of the world in a matter of a heartbeat. That, and the fact that I haven't been saved from a lion attack pretty much since birth. So ladies and gentlemen, it's not okay to be a woman. It's absolutely necessary. Because a society without women will literally go extinct. For obvious reasons such as biology, but for more intuitive reasons that we have not yet discussed. The whole premise that women gossip, for example, comes from the fact that women actually are more adept at retrieving memory from long term, which is crucial for information passing, because if information and news isn't passed around, then news of danger can't. And not only that, but according to Diane Harper, which is a PhD doctor and also was the former American Psychologists Association, who wrote the academic text, Sex Differences in Cognitive Abilities. She said that women's reading comprehension and writing abilities consistently exceeded that of men. On average, they outperform men in tests like fine motor coordination and perceptual speed, which is why of the 46 weeks, right, of the New York bestsellers list, the majority were women. This is an example of following your strong suit. Also, did you know that according to a study by the National Institute in the American Health Association, it stated that women had greater volume of, and this is medical, so apologies if I mispronounce it, but they had a higher volume in the prefrontal cortex, the orbifrontal cortex, the superior temporal cortex, the lateral parietal cortex, and the insula, whereas males, on average, had a greater volume in the ventral, temporal, and occipital regions. Each of these reasons are responsible for processing things differently. Simply put, there are nuanced differences between men and women, and these differences should be celebrated, not pinned against each other. Similarly, Dr. Amen from the Amen Clinic in the UK conducted one of the largest functional brain imaging studies ever, where they studied the SPECT scans of over 46,000 female and male brains. And they realized that women scientifically make more and better leaders because we're more empathetic, we have more foresight, we have better decision-making, and we're more open to collaborations. So the irony in that is that of the 190 countries assessed, only 3, literally just 3, had majority women in parliament. We're not even going to get into presidency, but that's actually quite ironic considering that we make scientifically better leaders. So if we come back home in South Africa, we find out that the National Assembly consists of about 46% women representative in parliament, and the National Council is 36% for provincial. So these are good numbers. Don't get me wrong. These are actually really good numbers. But then it begs the question, why isn't the exact number of the population percentage reflective to the parliamentary percentage? Ladies and gentlemen, following a strong suit isn't relegating women to only certain things, but opening the door to them doing anything that they want, especially the things that they're good at. See, the difference between men and women had always been evident, but because women's differences weren't stereotypically directed to remuneration, they were seen as nugatory. But then we came to realize that these very differences and what women were shunned for have actually led to crucial betterments in the working environment and pretty much society at large. So ladies and gentlemen, when you allow women the freedom and space to authentically be themselves, without having to prove themselves to a bar that they didn't even start to begin with, you allow a society to work together. Instead of individually having people trying to prove a point that they shouldn't have. See, with equality, you're saying we're the same. But with equity, you're saying that we are equally important. Venus isn't Mars, and it shouldn't have to be. So by allowing women the space and place that's safe, yeah, I rhymed, but that was on purpose, to do whatever it is that they want in society, you inadvertently create a society that is much better, safer, and brighter. Well, the last one is mainly because we literally see more colors than men. Thank you very much.